Hello, I'm Hamilton Morris. We're currently boating through a flooded forest on our way to meet the Mayaruna Indians, a formerly cannibalistic tribe who use a strange frog-derived drug they call Sapo. They use it to give themselves energy before hunting. They use it to abort pregnancies by rubbing these women's vaginas with it. This venom contains an opioid peptide that's 100 times stronger than morphine. And some people say that it's psychedelic. It doesn't activate any of the psychedelic receptors as far as I know, but there's also a lot about the venom that we don't know. The venom produces some kind of a strange effect. It makes you vomit, and then supposedly you spend the next 8 hours in some kind of a daze and wake up feeling fantastic the next day. And they're going to ritualistically burn me and rub the frog venom into my wounds, and then it's going to produce some sort of a strange effect. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to do, but we'll find out.
Thank you for flying with our Republican member of co-pilots.
I have arrived in Tabatinga after days of traveling. It's an impossibly humid rainforest city built by drug traffickers and sandwiched between the borders of Colombia and Peru. I feel like I'm being gangbanged by vegetation. Every visible surface is coated with growing plants. The streets are overrun with motorcycles, scooters, and mopeds. I can feel that the jungle is near. I go to the dock, where the journey will begin, and meet our guide, Juan. Before we exchange a word, he looked at my long hair and started laughing hysterically. He said the Mayaruna Indians are going to think I'm a woman. They're going to kidnap me as a wife. Then he repeated the joke 1,000,000 times during the course of our day.
La mano.
I board our boat, which is a 30-foot-long canoe with a wicker awning in the middle. I meet the other crew member, a man introduced as the captain, who will run the boat's small motor. We make a quick stop to pick up a giant block of filthy frozen river water. The ice block is dragged out of the freezer through a heap of bloody, gutted catfish. The captain then proceeds to smash up the ice blocks with a rusty machete and throw the chunks into a couple of styrofoam coolers, which will hold our minuscule food supply. Juan says the ice will last 6 days, but that seems totally impossible. We're on the Amazon River right now. We're still on the border of Peru, Brazil, and Colombia, with Colombia this way, Brazil this way, and Peru that way. Because of its proximity to Colombia and Peru, Tabatinga has become one of the main entry points for cocaine traffickers into Brazil. I'm told the chance of us encountering cocaine being shuttled around is not too low. The rainy season is when the Amazon River swells over the land and life hemorrhages out of everything in sight. There are trees growing on trees, ants crawling on ants, and penis fish swimming up the urethra of other penis fish. It's exhausting to watch. In order to save time, we take a detour through the flooded jungle. crew consists of Juan in front with the machete, the captain in the back motoring us around, and Alex, who is in charge of security should we run into any hostile drug traffickers. But that's sort of something that hasn't been discussed in too much detail at this point, I guess. It's going to be 3 days upriver. Each night we're going to stay on the side of the river in some sort of a shack, and then we find the Mayaruna.
Estamos chegando na comunidade de Boa Vista. Você está vendo que agora está alagado, né?
The sun sets and we dock at the home of some strangers. The river surrounds their home and reaches up to their doorstep. Apparently, families living on the river are obliged to take in travelers.
Here we are on the banks of the Javari River. This is where we're going to be spending the night tonight. These are our hammocks, complete with mosquito-proof netting. It's a very nice view of the river. Here's the bathroom. Consists of a board with 2 holes cut in it. I'm not exactly even sure what to do with it or what it means. I just peed into the hole that had the most pee surrounding it. It seems like a pretty authentic Amazon experience. I like this dog. I think he likes me.
Night comes and our hosts cook us a chicken meal. I'm ready to eat some chicken, get some fitful sleep, and then spend another day on the boat. There's definitely mosquitoes inside my tent. I could hear them buzzing next to my face as I was sleeping, but it was too dark to do anything.
It's 10 in the morning right now. Last night we stayed at someone's house and there was a big debate about whether it was okay to bathe because the bathing water was right next to the peeing and shitting water. and there really didn't even seem to be any reason to bathe because it's only the second day. I didn't feel the need, but a lot of other people on our crew decided that it was hot and they would sleep better after they washed their hair.
Around 11 in the morning, we stop for a bite to eat. Alex stabs open a can of wieners with a giant chrome hunting knife. I eat a few, and they taste like wet toilet paper. Every time we stop for someone to pee, flocks of majestic yellow butterflies swarm around us.
I'm gonna go pee into this flock of butterflies right now. Here we are in another flooded forest region. It's pretty spectacular, actually. We're just floating on the treetops. We're floating halfway up a forest. The river is like S-shaped, but since it's the rainy season, we're able to cut through sections of forest that have flooded. I mean, this isn't normally a river. It's only a river 6 months of the year, or maybe even less. We're just floating by the top of a tree. It's like very strange.
Around noon, I have to shit off the side of the boat while everyone films me. Not fun. I was definitely poisoned many times over by last night's chicken dinner. I sincerely fear that I may shit my only pair of pants.
Fantastic.
I recently learned that we were on this expedition illegally. FUNAI, the Brazilian agency dedicated to Indian affairs, patrols these waters looking for unlicensed groups like ours who are trying to contact the Indians. Juan also tells me the Amazon is full of creatures scientists know nothing about. Once, while deep in the jungle, he encountered a fur-covered beast with only one eye. Him and the beast exchanged a glance, and as a result, Juan suffered a 5-month-long fever. I had been smoking JWH-18 laced cigarettes and was too high to be skeptical, so instead, I opted for extreme fear. Besides FUNAI, we have plenty to worry about. There's rampant malaria and hepatitis epidemics, the waters are infested with piranhas, snakes, and candiru penis fish, and the air is filled with biting insects. The homes along the river are becoming further and further apart, and we dock early today with a small family living on the shore. The air is vibrating with swarms of mosquitoes. I have never seen anything like this in my life. The insects are impossibly bloodthirsty, and they remove a plug of flesh when they bite. In minutes, my hands are covered with bleeding, swollen sores.
Essa água é do rio?
É, senhor.
Não, não. Pode tirar.
Ah, é?
Não.
Ah, vocês colocaram daí,
É, pode tirar. Não, tranquilo que eu faço o arroz. Não se preocupa, não. Tira a água daí. Isso. Me presta aí a sua panela. Agora.
Just hoping that I don't get bitten too terribly tonight, and that the food doesn't poison me too severely.
Quantos filhos a senhora tem?
São 10.
10.
Caraca.
E fora que morreu. Eu tenho uma mulherzinha e 2 hominhos. São 3 mortos.
Night falls, and the incredible number of bugs discourages me from bathing once again. I lay in my hammock while mosquitoes squeal past my ears. The mosquito net and bug spray are only a formality at this point. There is no escape. I wake up totally massacred by bugs. It would be much easier to describe where I don't have mosquito bites. My hair, fingernails, asshole, and the inside of my mouth. We take a Polaroid of our host's daughter, give it to her, and get out of there. Today, we are scheduled to arrive at the Mayaruna village, the ancient village of the frog.
Day 3, I still haven't bathed, but I think that's going to change soon because I want to look my best for the Mayaruna. I have mosquito bites on every square inch of my body. My neck is just like a necklace of searing pain that, well, I don't even know how they were able to target my neck, but, well, I'm miserable right now.
Agora se tu te pode jogar e corre água, não tem problema.
It's been 4 days since I've bathed, 4 incredibly sweaty days. It's been a long time since I've taken off my pants. Oh, it's very cool. Oh, okay. Oh, it's actually ice cold. Ice cold.
Help him, man.
We see the Mayaruna around midday. They live on top of an orange cliff that juts straight out of the river. Children peer over the edge at us and then run to our boat to carry our bags up the cliff. The clay crumbles under my feet. If I fall, I am 3 days from the nearest hospital. So it's actually very refreshing to be here, although it's extremely hot. The Mayaruna village is a collection of huts spread across a large dusty clearing. The insects are prehistoric. As of now, the plan is to go out tonight and catch the frog, and then in the morning after the frog has been caught, we'll harvest the secretions and burn me and rub them into my wounds. We walk into the hut of our host, a man named Petro. His face is covered in tattoos he gave himself with a tree thorn needle and black fungus ink.
Por que não ficou com Danilo? Não? Ai, mamãe, bom.
Juan asks Petro if he thinks I'm a woman. Petro says no. Juan looks defeated.
This is the stick. You can actually see some dried Sapo. There's a moldy bread type smell, definitely.
Mira que ele se queima, né? 1, 2, 3.
E o que acontece depois que toma o sapo?
Tá aí. E quando vomita com o sapo. Quando ele vai provocando, né? Aí. Aí, dormindo. Aí, pronto. Aí. Mas bicho,
Quem toma? Ele também?
ele pequenito também liada com aquele sapo. Levanta, cara. Aí está. Blanquito, esse blanquito. 2. 2.
The chief's son takes me to his pharmacy, which is a hut stockpiled with a modest supply of antibiotics.
Ibuprofen, aspirin, neoampicillin. It's very good. It makes me feel like if I come close to death after my Sapo administration, they will be able to slap me with some ampicillin. It's just nice to see people are on top of medicine. It's good. I could go for some ice cold lemonade right now. Here we are outside waiting for the frog to sing. Even though it's the rainy season, it hasn't rained in days, and usually the frog doesn't make any sounds unless it's wet. So we're just waiting. It might be hours and hours and hours before it makes any sound at all. But right now I'd like to just have an ice cream cone and maybe a cool glass of lemonade.
A little bit before dawn, Petro hears the song and calls back to the Sapo, imitating its bark. He runs out of the hut into the jungle and out of sight. He returns half an hour later, empty-handed.
It's 5:20 in the morning right now. They just came back out of the woods and said that they didn't hear it after all. If it rains, then the frog will sing and we'll go into the woods. But until then, I will return to my hammock and continue waiting and scratching my bites.